You know, every single year, the most hardcore golfers out there, the members of GolfWRX, they all vote on the best gear. So we're going to break down their picks for the best irons of 2025. And let me tell you, the results, they tell this fascinating story about a huge shift in what serious players are really looking for in their clubs.
So to kick things off, just get a load of this number. In a category that is absolutely jam-packed with options from every single brand you can think of, one iron model, just one, managed to capture more than 20% of the total vote. That is a massive statement.
And here's what that looks like. I mean, this is the vote share for the top 5, and that gigantic slice for the Srixon ZX5 that's something we almost never see, not in the irons category. This isn't just a win, it's a total, complete landslide.
Okay, so let's start right there with that runaway winner and really unpack how one single iron managed to just completely own the conversation in 2025. You know, the voters and the analysts were all on the same page here, calling it a runaway favorite with an unheard-of number that really puts this whole thing into perspective, right? It's signaling a major shift in the equipment world, focusing on this new blend of both style and performance.
All right, so here's the full list. Srixon ZX5, of course, is at number 1. Then you've got the Titleist T150. And wait, look at this. Srixon also grabs the number 3 spot with the ZX5, which is the more forgiving model. We'll get to that. Then we've got the Mizuno JPX 925 and the Ping Blueprint S. 2 of the top 3 from the same brand. That tells you something pretty special is happening.
But this win, it really didn't just come out of nowhere. Srixon's success has been building for years, really transforming them from a brand that was, kind of overlooked into the undisputed champ for golfers who really know their stuff.
Now, what's so interesting here is the total shift in perception. I mean, just a few years ago, Srixon was that iron a fitter might hand you, kind of as a surprise. But now, that whole script has completely flipped. Golfers are walking into fittings and asking, actively asking to try Srixon because of its tour cred and just stellar performance.
So what is the secret sauce? Well, it's a few things. The ZX5 gets all this praise for its incredible feel and just how easy it is to get the ball up in the air. Their signature Tour V-sole, that's the design that helps the club just glide through the turf. It's just so smooth. But the real magic, it's the hidden forgiveness. It looks like a demanding player's club, but it has a much bigger sweet spot. And that's why that number 3 ZX5 is so important. It pairs perfectly with the ZX7 for an awesome combo set.
Okay, now let's look at the rest of the top 5. Because, yes, Srixon took the crown, but these other contenders, they reveal this really powerful trend in modern iron design. They all share one critical thing in common. And here it is. This is the common thread. The thing that connects the Titleist T150, the Mizuno JPX 925, and the Ping Blueprint S is that they all pack way more forgiveness and playability than their sleek, tour-inspired looks would ever have you believe.
Coming in at a very strong number 2 is the Titleist T150. And this iron, well, it's developed a very specific, and I'd say very flattering, reputation.
This quote just says it all. The T150 is the cheater club. And why? Well, because it lets players who maybe don't have the most perfect ball striking play an iron that looks and feels like a serious tour-level club.
The formula is simple, but it's brilliant. You start with that classic player's iron shape, right? Then you make it just a little bit bigger for more stability. And then you engineer in all that modern distance and forgiveness. And what you get is a club that opens the door for a much wider range of golfers to play a Titleist blade-style iron. It's pretty cool.
All right, moving on to another one that's always in the conversation. The 4th place finisher comes from a brand that is just synonymous with incredible feel, the Mizuno JPX 925 Forged.
So what keeps the JPX 925 in the top 5? First, it is ridiculously easy to launch high, which is huge for stopping power on the greens. Its new sole design is a massive plus. It resists digging, so it's way more forgiving if you're a little steep. Throw in some nice shaping in the short irons and the option for that amazing black finish, and you've got a total package.
And rounding out our top 5, we have the Ping Blueprint S. Now this is a club with a name that might sound a little intimidating to the average golfer, but Once again, it fits our theme perfectly.
And this quote just gets right to the heart of it. Despite the name Blueprint and its tour pedigree, this iron was specifically designed with some subtle forgiveness baked in. By adding stability in that compact shape, Ping created a club that gives everyday players the confidence to play a blade-style iron without needing a pro swing to pull it off.
So after all that, what does this all mean? Let's kind of zoom out and look at the big picture takeaways from this year's voting. What is this list telling us about where the modern golf iron is headed?
You know, when you look at the whole list laid out like this, the pattern becomes crystal clear. At the top, you've got the Srixon ZX5 which is the benchmark for feel and just all-around performance. But then, notice the key trait for pretty much every other club. Forgiving, high forgiveness, effortless launch, accessible. They are all pointing in the exact same direction.
And this all leads to one clear overarching trend. We are smack in the middle of the era of the playable player's iron. The market is rewarding clubs that deliver that clean, aspirational look of a pro's iron, but are packed with the forgiveness and tech that everyday golfers actually need to play their best.
Which of course leaves us with one final question. Most of these irons are on a 2-year cycle, and new competition is always coming out. So, can this lineup hold its ground? Or will the constant pace of innovation just completely shake up this list by next year? Honestly, that's what makes following all this stuff so exciting.